increase or reduce. And the last one, we have negative income elasticity of demand. In that case of negative, the increase in income is accompanied by a decrease in quantity demanded. And the decrease is so obvious, so much that is so glaring that the quantity demanded is reducing drastically. In that case, we say we have negative income elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand. The cross elasticity of demand, or also known as cross price elasticity of demand, measures the responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a goods to a change in the price of another goods. That is, two goods, the price of one goods can affect the quantity demanded of another goods, especially when we have substitute goods and complement goods. That is the two major examples of the goods that is applicable to this cross price elasticity of demand. Cross price elasticity of demand measures the percentage change in quantity demanded for the first goods that occur in response to the percentage changes in price of the second goods. For example, if in response to a change to a 10% increase in the price of fuel, the demand for new cars that are fuel inefficient decreased by 20%, the cross elasticity of demand will occur in that case. That is the situation of cross elasticity of demand. So much that, so that the increase in price of a particular product affects the demand of another product. We can have a negative, we can have a positive cross price elasticity of demand. A negative cross elasticity denotes that two products are complements. When goods are complements, the complement goods are the two goods that can be used together, and one is useless without the other. That means the two must be consumed together. Assume products, for example, product A and product B are complements, meaning that the two can be used together. Without A, B is useless. Without B, A is useless. That is the example of complement good. And in that case, we say we have a negative cross price elasticity of demand. Why is it so? Why is it negative? It's because an increase in price of one will lead to a decrease in quantity demanded of the other one. And we depict something like exactly the demand curve that shows negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. And as shown on the screen, we have a demand curve that shows, that shows the relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Two goods that complement each other has a negative cross elasticity of demand, and that is negative. Then we can also have a positive cross elasticity of demand, and that one will be the case of substitute goods. A positive cross elasticity of demand denotes substitute product. In that case, the perfect substitute product will give us a positive relationship between an increase in price of one leading to an increase in quantity demanded of the other. In that case, that means, for example, the two goods that are substitute, like Milo and Bonfita the other time, that means an increase in price of Milo will lead to an increase in quantity demanded of Bonfita, because so many consumers will leave buying of Milo and shift to the buying of Bonfita, and that is a positive effect on the other goods. So two goods that are substitute have a positive cross elasticity of demand in the market, and their own curve will depict and resemble exactly that of the supply. They have the same, they have positive relationship between price and quantity demanded. That means as price of one product is increasing, the quantity demanded of the other products will be increasing at the same time. That is the price, the positive cross elasticity of demand. Also, we have other two goods. We can have other two goods that are independent of each other. They are not related at all in any way. In that case, we can have something like independent or what we call zero cross elasticity of demand. When two goods are not related at all, increase in price of one will not in any way affect the demand of the other. In that case, because they are not related, their demand, their curve will look just as that of perfectly elastic demand, which is horizontal to the y-axis, which is very clear. And two goods that are independent of each other, we say they are zero cross elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of supply. Under demand, we have three types of elasticity. We have price elasticity of demand, we have income elasticity of demand, and cross price elasticity of demand. But under supply, we have just price elasticity of demand. Why is it only price? It's because price is the only factor, major factor that the producers considers when they are producing. Because from the price that they will get their revenue, that they will get their profit. So it is a major factor that the producers consider when they are producing. That is why we have only price. And also because of the fact that price and supply has a positive relationship as defined from the law of supply. That the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. So we have only price elasticity of supply. And price elasticity of supply is a measure of quantity supplied in response to the increase or changes in price. If the price keep increasing, the quantity demanded also will be increasing. When the coefficient is less than 1, when the formula for price elasticity of demand also is just like that of price elasticity of demand, but that of supply says the percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price, and that is the price elasticity of supply. And the coefficient is usually represented by capital E small x subscript x, which is capital E small x. When the coefficient, the calculation, after the calculation, and we get the price, the figure to be less than 0, we say the supply is inelastic. That means the inelasticity is, the elasticity of supply is less than 0. But when the coefficient is equal to 1, we say it's unitary. But if it's greater than 1, we say the supply is elastic. But if it's 0, we say it's zero elasticity of supply. So it's the only difference between the price elasticity of supply and that of price elasticity of demand is the fact that one is dealing with demand, the other is dealing with supply. Their types is almost the same because the value attached to each after calculation is they are all the same. That is, when the coefficient of elasticity of supply is greater than 1, we say the demand is elastic, supply is elastic. When the coefficient of elasticity of demand is less than 1, we say it is inelastic. When it is 1, we say it is unitary. Those are the values attached to the coefficient of the elasticity of supply. Determinants of supply. What are the determinants of supply? The factors that affect the quantity of products that the producer will supply in the market. Number 1 is cost of production. Other things being equal, low cost of production usually results in an elastic supply and vice versa. That means when there is low cost of production of a particular product, there will be more of such product that will be supplied into the market. The production of that product will be elastic, will be much, and that will be supplied to the market. And the other way around, when the cost of production is very high, there will be a reduction in the production of that particular product. The second one, the nature of commodity. While we have durable goods, we have some goods that are not durable, that are perishable. The durable goods usually have an inelastic supply due to their nature, while the perishable goods usually have an elastic supply because of the nature. Because the perishable goods tend to get spoiled on time, but the supply, when the supply is usually small, so that it will not be too much in the market, and if they are not bought on time, they can be getting spoiled easily. But durable goods can last longer and they can stay for a long period of time before they start getting deteriorating, which will give the producer more courage to produce more of them into the market. Another determinant is cost of storage. Producer will surely supply more of goods into the market if there are availability, there is low in storage cost. If the cost of storage is very high, the producer will not be encouraged to produce more, because the higher the cost, the lower their profit, and they want to make more profit. But the lower the cost, the higher the profit. So the cost of storage is another factor. Then we have time. Time is another factor, especially for agricultural products. The agricultural products, in the time before the harvest, they are usually limited in the market, but during the harvest period, they are usually more in the market. So they also respond to the supply. The time also affects the supply of such products in the market, especially during when the products are not available. They are always conscious of how much of it will be produced because of the time. And the last one, we have spare or excess production capacity. Any producer that has spare capacity or excess capacity to produce a particular product will always be at the advantage, because at any time